Hi, Stephen. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad, not too
Uh,
bad. I'm a happy gooner. I'm a happy gooner at the moment.
Straight away, first message. There we go. Thank you, guys. Appreciate the support.
Definitely.
Good show yesterday from yourselves. Sorry. You have to bear with us. We're still learning what we're doing here. And I wasn't sure that this has actually gone live. So,
We're
welcome
newbies
to
to the
Canon
whole
Chatter
YouTube
TV.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
welcome to Canon Chatter TV. It has taken a while. Longer than I was hoping it was going to take. It's taken me almost 6 months to get to this point. But we wanted to try and make sure we had some good ideas and some good content. And we hopefully have got some good stuff coming up for you. So please stay tuned over the next weeks and months and hopefully years as we do our thing and grow this channel. I want to start off and say a couple of quick thanks to a few people that have helped me. Obviously, the first one is to a guy called Martin at Gunforce Edits. You may know him from on Twitter, who helped me out so much at the beginning. He was the one who helped create the whole Canon Chatter logo and the whole feel of everything that we do. So, Martin, thank you very much. Then Dan from the Matchday Shop, who has very kindly agreed to sponsor the channel. So we will be doing some giveaways. We will be doing some discounts. We have some really cool stuff lined up with him. And hopefully in the future, if all goes well, we may get some merchandise and sell that through his store. But check him out, www.thematchdayshop.com, if you haven't already. Last one then is a special thank you to a guy called Chris Bullard, you may know from Twitter as well, who has been helping us out recently with all the graphics that we do. You may have seen the new stuff that we've been putting up on our Twitter feed. So special thank you to Chris, who I know is watching, despite the fact that, and I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, his girlfriend is currently having major heart surgery. And hopefully this is going to take his mind off that a wee bit. Please as well check out the link on our page that I put up a couple of days ago to the Just Giving site. He's trying to raise some money to take his girlfriend away on a really nice relaxing holiday to Disney. She has been in hospital since August waiting on this operation, and he hasn't seen her in person for 6-7 months, and that must be really hard. So thank you, Chris. That's the thank yous. And of course, well, there is one other thank you, and that's to this man here, to G. Say hello, G.
hi guys. My name's Granville,
With,
but you may know me as G Talks Arsenal on Twitter. But yeah, just a quick hello from me.
yes, Chris, this is what we look like.
Yep. I hope it's not. I hope you're not
I'm
disappointed.
ugly. He's pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks to
Okay.
G as well. Without G, none of this would have happened. This all came off the back of a conversation that we had one night on Twitter where we were involved in a debate over something. I can't even remember at this point what it was.
Literally, I
But we
can't
had,
remember what it is.
yeah, we had such a good debate, and he messaged me privately afterwards and said, "Oh, that he really enjoyed the interaction and stuff." And I sort of jokingly said, "Oh, maybe I should start a YouTube channel." And he said, "Yeah, do it. I'd get involved. I'd watch that." And then as things have sort of gone along, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get G involved, and he is now half of Canon Chatter with me, and it's going to be good.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
G, do you want to talk about a bit about what we want from Canon Chatter?
Yeah, so for me, when it comes to Twitter, I've had Twitter. I think somebody's going to probably go and check my profile now, but I think I've had it from about 2011, and it was not always football orientated. It was just another social that I had. But obviously, as you know, the guys viewing will know, football Twitter is huge. On Twitter, it's just become so big in terms of like transfer news, opinions, fans interacting with each other from all over the world. So I would say it's only kind of like maybe probably since like the beginning of lockdown, I kind of thought to myself, well, you know what? I kind of want to get more involved in all the conversations online. So I kind of made it more focused to kind of Arsenal and football. Um, And then yeah, so I'm just on there having conversations, posting things and so forth. And then I got started talking to Stephen, as he said, with regards to debate, whatever it was about. I can't remember what it was about now, but we really clicked. We kind of we shared the same opinions on some stuff, and there were also things that our opinions were quite different. But what I enjoyed so much about the interaction was that he was willing to kind of hear me out. I was willing to hear him out, and it was a conversation. And a lot of the time on Twitter, it can get a bit silly sometimes where people don't really kind of respect other people's views. So that's what made me kind of reach out to him. And then from there, the rest is history. So for me, Canon Chatter, somebody might say, well, why start an Arsenal YouTube channel or an Arsenal platform on Twitter, because there are so many. And I think, that's the beauty of Twitter, really. And YouTube is that, yeah, there are so many out there. There are some that are really established. There are some like ourselves that, are just starting out. But I think for me, I want to be part of a platform that is about the fans and it's for the fans. We're just two normal guys that have supported Arsenal our whole life, and we're just really interested in interacting with Arsenal fans all over the world, on all topics of Arsenal, hearing varied opinions about whatever it is to do with Arsenal. So it's a safe space to just talk about the club we love, and that's what it's about for me. It's about, I love nothing more than actually just talking about Arsenal. There are going to be times, Stephen, when you're going to have to literally tell me to shut up, because I could talk about it all day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yes,
for me,
we have had conversations where it's been late the night before you shut up.
But that's what it's about for me. For me, it's just about starting a platform with Stephen where we can literally interact with fans all over the world, and enjoy what we, so much enjoy, which is talking about Arsenal. What about yourself?
Well, for me, the big thing, what I want is interaction. It's great, and you know what? I love talking to G about football and about Arsenal. But it's not just about me and him. The whole premise of this is we want people to interact. We want to get fans involved. A lot of our ideas that we have for shows and stuff involve fans being on screen, talking, having their say, putting up the comments, dropping comments in there. We'll read them out, asking questions, giving their points of view, and doing it in a good, friendly way. You see 100%. So much of this, I hate to use the word, but people being toxic on the different platforms, and having a real go. And if one person has an opinion that somebody else doesn't like, they're wrong. But you know what? If you have an opinion we don't agree with, tell us your reasons. Give us your theory. Give us your explanation of why you think the way you do. We'll never think you're wrong, and we'll not think bad of you. We may disagree, but you know what? That's the fun of it. And this is what we want, is we want that real good fan interaction. We want you to say what you want as well. This channel is for you guys. So if you have ideas of shows you'd like to see, things you want us to talk about, things that maybe you'd like to get involved in, give us a shout. There's loads of ways to get in contact with us. There's obviously, most of the people now at the minute will know us through Twitter, which is @CanonChatter. But there's also my own personal Twitter, which is @SBCanonChatter, and G's one is @GTalksArsenal. We have email addresses as well. So I'm Stephen@CanonChatter.com, and G is Granville@CanonChatter.com. There's the Instagram account, which I don't know a massive amount about. So G looks after that. That's what is that?
What's that?
What's the Instagram account?
It's Canon. So it's @Canon_chatter. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Facebook then is just Canon Chatter.
Canon Chatter.
So honestly, if you want to get involved, drop us a call, or not a call. Not giving you a phone number. Drop us a message. Drop us an email. DM us, whatever you want. Just get involved. Tell us what you want. Drop your comments in the streams. We will do a lot of live streams. We will do some pre-records as well. But we have some really cool stuff that we have lined up, which I don't want to tell you too much about. I want to keep you in suspense.
Top secret.
Please get involved. So, all that said, should we do a bit of a review of the match yesterday?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Really good.
What a result.
Really good. I know. You know what? It's like obviously I kind of knew that we was going to do this show. So for me, I was really hoping that we'd get a positive result. Because I really wanted to kind of obviously you want to have a positive result because you're an Arsenal fan, and we've not always had positive results this season, but nevertheless, I really kind of wanted to kick off our first show, with just with a good feeling. And yeah, it was a brilliant result. But I have to be honest, when I first saw the lineup, I wasn't very optimistic. I don't know if before I go ahead, I don't know what you thought about the lineup when it first came out with
Well,
all those
let me
changes.
read it out to you. So we had Leno in goals. We
Yeah,
had Cedric at right back with David Luiz and Pablo Mari coming in to the centre defence. We Tierney at left back. Then El Neni coming in for Ceballos along with Xhaka. Pepe in for Saka. Smith Rowe, William in for Oba, wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
And Laka came in as well. Who am I missing? Who didn't play?
Obviously Partey still coming back from injury as well.
Oh,
Um,
Bellerin didn't play. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Bellerin.
Party on the bench.
Yeah,
Um, I was surprised. I said in the tweet before the match that I thought there would be a couple of changes, but
hmm
given the fact that we didn't have a midweek match,
yep,
whereas Leicester did, I felt that we wouldn't make many changes because we could give the guys a week off. So I was surprised at 6 changes.
yeah.
What about yourself?
Definitely. Like I say, obviously coming off the back of the result against Benfica, obviously we made those two legs look a lot more difficult than they should have. I think we should have put the tie to bed in the first leg. But nevertheless, the lads delivered late in the game and we got the win. For me, the lineup was I felt quite underwhelmed, if I'm honest. To begin with, similarly to what you said, I thought, where we didn't have a midweek game and we were playing Burnley, I think it was like a week or just over a week later. I thought that would have been the opportunity to rest the guys. So I was looking for, the strongest team. So I'm looking for, the likes of Saka, Uber's come back into form. So having him play, I was hoping Partey, probably maybe not started, but he would have got, more minutes. And I was a little bit surprised, with the centre back pairing as well. So even though I had that feeling, you know, obviously the result, it turned out to be a really, really good result for us. But yeah, I have to be honest, I wasn't too optimistic, given the fact how Leicester have been playing. I think they've been in the top four or top six for the vast majority of the season. We're 10th, kind of 11th. And I thought to myself, because I've not really given up on the league yet. I know a lot of Arsenal fans have, but I haven't. I haven't given up on the fact that I think, given the situation we're in and the situation everyone else is in, with the hectic schedule and the inconsistency of a lot of the teams above us, I still think we can make top six. People might call me crazy, but I do think we can make top six. So for me, this was a crucial game. I thought, you know, Leicester's form this season. I thought, we're playing away from home. We need to field the strongest team and we need to get the 6 points, especially where we got Burnley coming up and then even the North London derby after that. So I was a little bit underwhelmed by the lineup at first, but obviously, the lads did deliver.
Yeah, as Chris says there, that we played in the same night as Leicester on Thursday.
Mm,
We did, and Leicester have a midweek game, so I was
yeah,
expecting Leicester to make a lot of changes, and I think
yeah,
they did make a number of changes to their starting
yeah,
lineup as well.
yeah.
Okay, so um, we went behind pretty early. What was your take on that goal?
To be honest, the game started. The game started similarly to how I felt about the lineup. It was slow. It was laboured. We didn't really get out the blocks. And yeah, it wasn't the best of starts. So when that goal went in, I just thought to myself, "Oh, here we go." Vardy hasn't even started yet, and we already 1-0 down. For me, it was a poor bit of defending. Um, was it Tillermeans? I think it was. He was kind
Yeah,
of running through. Xhaka did his best to kind of track back, but obviously he's not the paciest. And I think where the trouble happened was that I think if you look at the highlights, you know, people might disagree with me, but it almost looked as though Mari and Louise were both so concerned with Vardy in the box that, you know, Mari was running backwards. Louise kind of already had his man, so I felt at that point, you know, Mari should have approached the danger. He should have approached, you know, the oncoming player and just, you know, tackled the threat. That didn't happen, and he literally had all the time in the world to pick his spot. So, you know, for me, the defending was really poor, and I just thought to myself, well, you know, we're 1-0 down pretty early in the game. Um, this is not going to go well. So for me, poor bit of defending. I thought as well a little bit of like kind of here we go again. You know, I don't want to be negative, but we have been making a lot of kind of, you know, defensive errors early on in the game. A lot of the time we're going 1-0 down, you know, before we even kind of get started. So yeah, part of me kind of thought, you know, here we go again. So yeah, it wasn't the best start, not at all.
Yeah, for me, I was the same sort of thing. You know, I felt Mari should have come across to cover it.
Yeah,
But taking nothing away from Tillmans, it was a quality finish.
quality goal, quality goal.
Could
Quality
Leno
goal.
have done better? You know, could he have got down a bit quicker? It's hard to sort of know.
Yeah, it was a top
Tillmans
finish.
is a player I like. I've always liked Yuri Tillmans. I have to say, when he went to Leicester, I was jealous. I would
Yeah,
have loved him at Arsenal. He was that sort of player that I thought we could have done with at the time.
yeah, he's had an impressive
Um,
season. Well,
yeah,
Leicester on a whole have had an impressive season, to be honest.
yeah, absolutely. So then,
But we
obviously, after that, we had it was the Pepe incident, wasn't it? Next, the VAR for the
yes,
penalty.
yes. So what were your thoughts on that one? After,
Initially,
yeah,
I looked at it and went, "That's a penalty. That's a Stonewall penalty."
100%.
I'm watching it back. The more the sort of replayed it, yeah, VAR got it right.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I have to agree.
as I said, yeah, I mean, as I said yesterday on the guys from Blasphemy Arsenal, when I was watching their show, I did say, you know, any other team would have got it.
Yeah, yeah. I felt,
that
I
seems to
felt
be the
very
way.
similar. Yeah, I felt very similar when I was watching the game and he went over. Immediately, you know, I think as all fans do, you know, penalty. And for me, it looked an obvious penalty. Um, and there was that feeling, you know, when it was overturned, when it went to VAR, you kind of just had that sinking feeling that, you know, this is going to get overturned. And even though on reflection, I do think it was the right decision. At the moment, you know, in the heat of the game, I just thought, here we go again. You know, that's a penalty that, you know, 9 out of 10 teams would be given. You know, the refs made the decision. You know, the whole VAR clear and obvious error. You know, yes, it was an error. Was it a clear and obvious error? You know, there's a lot of grey area there. So I just thought, here we go again. You know, another decision that's not going to go our way. But nevertheless, obviously, we got the result. On reflection, watching it multiple times, it would have been a harsh one to give against the Leicester player. Yeah, because I think first contact was made outside of the box.
Just seen this comment. Going to come back to that because we are going to talk about Willian a wee bit later on. Just don't want to think that I'm ignoring it.
Definitely going
so
to come back to that.
So yeah, then obviously we had the David Luiz goal then on 39 minutes.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I thought it was so crucial that we scored before half time. I thought it was so important because, like I say, where we started the half quite badly, quite slow and laboured, and then going a goal down, we grew obviously within the game. You could tell that, you know, we started to put some passes together, but we had a lot of possession. I think at one point we had up to like 70% possession, but we weren't really making kind of clear cut opportunities or chances with it, which has been a huge amount of, you know, which has been a big problem for us this season. You know, we have a lot of the ball, but teams tend to kind of sit back and kind of, you know, leave it to us to break them down, and we've not always really been able to do that effectively this season. So I thought it was really important that we got the goal, and we did. And credit to Willian. I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, we did purchase him, was, you know, for his kind of set piece specialities or specialist. It was a nice ball into the box, you know, and obviously they didn't track the runner, and, you know, it was a good header, to be fair. from David Luiz. Picked his
was.
spot.
It was a good cross, and I think I actually made a comment on Twitter at the time, and I said it was a half decent cross, and somebody pulled me on and saying, "Oh, you give William credit where you can give him some credit." And I did say it was good, but in fairness, it could have been slightly higher, so David Luiz didn't have to buck down as much to get the header. But it was a quality finish. He took it well, and it was. That Chelsea connection there, doing for us for a change.
Definitely. And then that kind of obviously, that kind of changed the game really, because, even though, don't get me wrong, the second goal by Lacazette was a penalty, but for me, it wasn't so much about the penalty. It was more about the build up. So, when I kind of looked at that goal, when I kind of looked back and saw the highlights, obviously the replays, I must say again, it was a brilliant bit of play by Willian. I have to admit, he kind of turned on the halfway line. He ran into space. He took on a couple players and he pinged a nice ball into the middle. I think it was the Smith Rowe, and that kind of opened up Leicester City at that point. And then obviously it went to Pepe. He tried to ping it in and it hit. I think it was Ndidi's hand, and then we got the pen, which took a long while for the ref to give. I must say. It took quite a while for him to actually blow his whistle, but I think once it went to VAR, I was confident that they were going to actually give it to us. But yeah, I think Willian played well. Would you say that? Say that again.
Going to the screen. What did you make of him going to the screen to actually have a look?
I kind of thought at that point he had to give it. My issue was that obviously play had continued, so I thought that even though there was a strong appeal, I thought. The game's gone on, they were not even going to review it. That was more my initial concern. Once the game had stopped and they said they were doing the VAR check, I thought to myself, there is no way they could not give this. But saying that, I have to be honest, I was still very much like, they're not going to give it, because when I looked at the replay, I thought to myself, well, he's standing technically on the line, or I just thought they were going to come up with some excuse as to why they couldn't give it. But yeah, when he went up to the screen, I thought it was an obvious penalty. I don't know why really, it needed a VAR check, but nevertheless, the VAR check happened and the penalty was given to us. But I was worried that we weren't even going to get that one, to be honest.
And obviously just before the goal, we had Smith Rowe coming off injured.
So
that was just after the first goal. He came off injured for Odegaard coming on. It's worrying to see Smith Rowe go down again. As I said to yourself yesterday, I worry for Smith Rowe that he's going to turn out to be another Jack Wilshere. He's so much talent, but his injury is going to plague his career. That's a genuine concern for me, because he does go down so easily.
He's had a phenomenal impact, on the Arsenal team since kind of coming into the first team. But it is a worry, and I think I actually tweeted it, or I put it up somewhere, and I said, I think that's why the Odegaard loan was so crucial. I think given the January transfer market, obviously the COVID situation, we were never going to go out and spend big on a number 10. But nevertheless, I think bringing in Odegaard on the loan was crucial, because exactly for that reason. Because I think long term, only time will tell whether or not injuries will plague his career, and we just don't know how that's gonna pan out. From what I've heard, it seems to be muscular, and I don't think he'll be out for long. But it is a concern. Because you just kind of think, well, he's had a huge impact on the team, but are these injuries going to be persistent? Are they going to kind of stunt his development in the squad?
So then we went down at the break 2-1 up, which I felt on the run of play we deserved.
Definitely,
I think we controlled the game without creating a great deal, but we controlled the game, and I think we did just about deserve it.
Yeah, 100%. What did you make of the third goal?
So the third goal came at the start of the second half. I said in my halftime post that we had to keep it tight, because they would come out and they would hit us hard, and you've seen it straight from the off. The press was so much higher. They were getting to the players so much quicker, but that gave us that little bit more space. And Odegaard the ball, the fact that he kept that move going, was so. I've said this to you before. He reminds me so much of Fabregas, and I don't know if anybody else sees that, but his mannerisms, the way that even as the ball is coming to him, he's looking around to see where is everybody on the pitch, and that used to be Cesc used to do that all the time, and he was one of the best at it. So that we flick through that he did to keep the move going to Willian, and how Willian got that back across. I mean, credit to him. I am not his biggest fan. He has not exactly set the world on fire since he's come to Arsenal. He has not exactly got the Arsenal fans on side, but give him credit. He played really well yesterday. I think from the free kick that led to David Luiz's goal, he just seemed to up his game. And his second half, he was night and day a different player from what we've seen so far this season.
100%.
And then Pepe had to tap in. I mean, let's be honest, it would have been harder to miss that.
Definitely.
So it was good. It was a good goal, good teamwork. And that, again, I tweeted out that, that's Arsenal football. That's what we're used to seeing, that quick, intricate passing. And it was so nice to see it happening. Long may it continue.
Definitely.
Let's hope we see that. Again, the guys seem to have so much confidence. And then from that, it was kind of just holding out until the end. I don't think really Leicester troubled us too much.
No, to be honest. Anybody found Vardy yet? I think he's playing hide and seek. he was, what was so for me, obviously the result was brilliant, going 1-0 down and obviously coming back and actually putting in a good team performance. A lot of, I think we've spoken about some of the players there, mentioning Willian, some of them having really good performances. But I think what was so enjoyable for me was the fact that Vardy didn't score. I think there's a bit of history there with obviously the kind of, him rejecting Arsenal a couple of seasons ago when we needed a centre forward. And he just has this phenomenal goal scoring record against us. That, is unquestionable. He's a fantastic striker, but it was just good to win, at Leicester and him not really have a major say in the game. And I don't know did you see that duel? I'm not sure. I think it was when we were 3-1 up. And somebody pinged the ball through and he was running in on goal. And it was him side by side with Mari. And he did a fantastic job in just kind of holding, kind of just holding him off. Do you know what I mean? So it was nice. It was nice to get the result and not have, other fans, give us stick about Vardy scoring another goal against us. So yeah, that was quite enjoyable. He was in Murray and
obviously there was
Louise's pocket all day.
Yeah, there was the other two subs then, just we'll touch on very quickly, which was obviously El Neni came off for Thomas Partey.
Yeah.
Good to see him come back, get a few minutes. I don't think he necessarily needed to come on in that game, but it was good to get some minutes in his legs.
Definitely.
And I think, he controlled the midfield reasonably well when he came on.
Yeah. He is, I heard a crazy stat. I think it was when he came on that that was only his 12th game, I believe it was for Arsenal.
Yeah, 12th game.
Yeah, since coming to Arsenal, and that's insane. And obviously that's just because he's been blighted with injuries, ever since joining us. But he gives us so much more. El Nene, for me is, he's a squad player. The issue I have with him is that I don't feel he plays really well under pressure, and a lot of the time, it's kind of passing backwards or sideways, whereas Partey just gives us so much more in terms of breaking up play, forward thinking, running into space, picking out a pass. He just offers so much more. So if we need to get him match fit. And we need him starting, week in, week out, because he will bring so much more to this Arsenal side. You've seen it, some people questioning on Twitter that, the impact he's had and, these are waste of money and all this nonsense. I saw him play, a host of times for Atletico Madrid, and he is top draw, and he's going to transform that Arsenal midfield. As soon as we can get him fit and playing week in, week out, he's going to have a massive impact on that side. Definitely.
Yeah, it's that speed of taking the ball from defense to attack that we don't have.
Yep.
You have players like when Xhaka and El Neni play together, it's constantly going backwards.
Yeah.
And going backwards to go forwards, whereas Party just seems to be very direct. It's he gets the ball, he turns, and he goes forward. Whether it's he's running with it or he's hoofing it up the field to someone. And I say that in the nicest possible way because he is very accurate with his passing. And I think that's where David Luiz has featured more than I probably thought he would this season, and that's because he has that range of passing from defence. And when Party's not been there, he's the only one that can sort of do that. But even he doesn't do it enough.
No.
So then the last sub was obviously Oba coming on and getting a few minutes for Laka, which surprised me. I thought at that point, we're 3-1 up, 6 or 7 minutes to go. What's the point in bringing him on? Why not get a few minutes in the legs of Martinelli or someone like that? Well, actually, looking at it, it really only was Martinelli that needed a few minutes, and that. It's my one major gripe with Arteta, is subs. I don't understand why not bring on Martinelli and give him a few minutes.
You've said that before. I know that's something that we've kind of discussed, kind of privately in the conversations we've had, just with regard to some of the substitutions. I think we can even go back to the Benfica game with that one. I think a lot of the substitutions in that game were questionable. Obviously, we got the result, a bit of brilliance by Saka and a goal by Aubameyang, but it seemed to kind of change the way we were playing. It seemed to not be as effective. Obviously, we got the results, so it worked out well. But yeah, for me, the game was won. 3-1 up. Against Leicester, we were pretty comfortable. Like you say, 7 or 8 minutes left. I just thought, well, at that point, just give Laka the 90 minutes because you've got a week until we play Burnley. If anything, like you said, bring on Martinelli. Looking at the bench, okay, so Nketiah wasn't on the bench. But yeah, at that point, just bring on Martinelli. No point bringing on Saka, and no point bringing on Aubameyang because I'm just thinking those guys have been rested, for obvious reasons. He's rotated the squad, so it just didn't really make sense bringing him on because can you imagine the uproar had he come on and got injured, and then he was out, for the North London derby and the Olympiacos game. Like, could you imagine, the fallout? So it didn't really make sense. Thankfully, he didn't get injured. I think he might even had a chance or two, but it wasn't, in the end, it worked out quite well.
Yes, Chris, you did. You said that to me on Twitter. It's kind of because if you're using the argument of he brought Partey on to get him some minutes in his legs after an injury, why not do the same with Martinelli? Because I'm kind of seeing it as Martinelli was out for a long time, with his knee injury, and he's come back and he was to start the game and got injured in the warm up. Is Arteta worried about him breaking down? But he needs to get him on the pitch. He does need to get some minutes on the pitch. And in a position like that where you're 3-1 up, okay, Leicester are a dangerous side.
Yeah.
But they hadn't really troubled us. They hadn't, shown anything to sort of say that they were going to get back in the game. So for me, he should have given them a few minutes. But it is what it is. We got the win. We got the 3 points. And we moved up 1 place in the table.
Yeah. I know it is what it is, isn't it? A win's a win. And back-to-back wins, like we're in the last 16 of the Europa League. I know a lot of Arsenal fans are thinking, we should be putting all our eggs in one basket. I do think it should probably be a priority given our league position. But like I said at the beginning of the stream, I don't think we should write the league off just yet. I've seen enough with the results kind of week in, week out that, if you can go on a 4-5, winning run, you can climb up that table really, really quickly. So we've got Burnley next. And I think we've got the North London derby, the other side of the Olympiacos game. So these are crucial games. Obviously Burnley, took a bit of a beating the other day. So, and our confidence is on the up. So, hopefully we should get a result there. And then that kind of like lead us in nicely to the Europa League game and then the North London derby. But, that's what kind of brings you back to what you're saying about Martinelli.
Sorry,
what was that? Yeah, about Martinelli is that I thought that was the perfect opportunity, like you were saying, to bring him on because I'm looking at the Burnley game. For me, that's a must-win game. the Burnley game, and then we've got Olympiacos and Tottenham. So I'm thinking to myself, really and truly, Olympiacos and Tottenham, you're going to be playing your first team, your strongest team. You don't really have room in those two games in particular to kind of, I would say, give players minutes to kind of get their fitness back. So I think yesterday, today's Monday. Yeah, yesterday would have been a perfect opportunity to get Martinelli on and give him some minutes. But apology.
So
But that's not what he did.
talk about the key players yesterday, the key performances, and we'll go back to this question from I'm not sure if it's Angelo or Dudley that's doing the writing of the questions here tonight. Was this game the turning point for Williams' Arsenal career? I believe that's now 3 assists in his last 2 games, 2 versus Leicester and 1 versus Benfica midweek. Which, that's absolutely true. Is it the turning point in his Arsenal career?
I hope so. I just put that out there. I do hope so. I think he's come under a huge amount of criticism from the fan base, and even Arteta himself a couple of weeks ago came out publicly, diplomatically, I must say, but did kind of criticize his performances, and rightly so. I think the criticism that William has received with regards his footballing performances has been completely spot on. He's come into the Arsenal team and bought him from Chelsea, and for me, other than the Fulham game, which was the first game of the season, he hasn't kicked on from that. His performances, and I'm going to be completely honest, his performances have been probably some of the worst performances I've seen from a single player to transfer to Arsenal. They have been absolutely shocking. So I think he's come under criticism from the fan base, and I think rightly so. Can it be the turning point in his Arsenal career? I do hope so, because at the end of the day, he is an Arsenal player. He's likely to be at the club for the next 2 years, regardless of what we think as fans. So if he can actually use this game as a springboard and actually go on, to be, a focal point in the Arsenal side, then we will hope he plays well, because none of us don't want him to not play well. You know what I mean? He puts on the jersey. We want him to play well. We want him to deliver, and that's why we've sat here tonight and we've actually praised him for his performances, or for his performance in the Leicester game. So, to answer the question, let's hope so.
Yeah,
you're not as optimistic.
Do you know what? I think it was the best thing he could have done, considering the stuff that came out during the week about the interview where he said he didn't want to leave Chelsea. He had to put in a performance yesterday, because if he had another poor performance yesterday, I don't know that he could ever have got the Arsenal fans inside.
Yeah.
He could have, if he had a poor performance yesterday and scored a hat-trick against Olympiacos, I still don't think the fans would be happy with him. And I said to you, funny enough, yesterday about the polls, obviously, that we're running at the minute about the players. I said, and they had 1 assist at this point. I says, I wonder how the polls will go tomorrow on William if he gets another assist or even a goal. And it is a bit more, it's a bit more split than I thought it was going to be. It's still heavily towards get him out of the club. But we'll see. We'll see. So yes, hopefully it is the kickstart of his career. I want to see him do well. I want to see every Arsenal player do well.
Definitely.
As we'll talk about in common shows, there are players there that just I don't believe are up to the standard that we need. But he's a proven player. Chelsea fans were a bit bitter about him going, saying, we didn't want him, we didn't like him, we didn't rate him. Well, somebody did, because he was at your club for
100%,
however many years it was. So he obviously, there was something there. So the other players we had sort of highlighted, Pepe, I thought had a really good game. I think once he realised that the defender had been booked and he couldn't, that defender could not tackle him, he was having a field day. He was, some of the touches, some of the, his attempts to go past people and stuff were coming off, and I thought he had a really good game yesterday.
Yeah, he was a constant threat, throughout the whole game. He literally terrorized Leicester City's Leicester City's left back. You know what I mean? Every time he got the ball, he just jinked past him, went past him, and good footwork, good pace, constant threat throughout. So yeah, he had a really, really good game. And I think at half time, Brendan Rodgers actually brought the young lad off, Thomas, because he got a booking.
Thomas.
Yeah, so he
Yeah,
got a booking, so he
brought
brought him off
Albrighton
because
on his place.
yeah, that was because that was going to be a certified red card come the second half because he couldn't live with Pepe in that match.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pepe for me, he got the man of the match via
Yep.
our man of the match poll. I know he was also awarded the man of match award from the Arsenal poll as well,
Yeah.
Arsenal.com. So yeah, he had a really good game. He got a
Although
goal
I
and he
think
was a
he
threat
only gave it to
throughout.
Willian.
Yeah, he did. He did. Somebody actually said to me, one of my mates actually said to me, do you think Willian deserved it? Do you think that he didn't get it just because of, his previous performances? I don't know what you make of that. Um, I I think it was pretty close between Willian and Pepe.
For me, Pepe was good throughout the entire match.
Yeah. Whereas
I
Willian was
think,
good
as
in
I said,
moments.
I think Willian didn't come alive until he got that,
Yeah.
until he hit the free kick for David Luiz's
Yeah.
goal. I think
Hmm.
before that, he looked
Hmm.
very laboured, very lazy.
Yeah.
It wasn't until that, and I mean, the second half, he did run his socks off.
Mm.
He was
Yeah.
a different player.
Hmm.
So I think on the balance, if you're basing it just on the second half, Willian would have got it. But I think on the balance of the whole match, for me, yeah, Pepe was the right choice.
Definitely. And I think it's all good news for Arsenal because, at the end of the day, we rested Aubameyang, who's, been getting goals. I think it was like 5 in his last 4. Saka got, probably a well-needed rest. But if we can bring in, do you know what I mean? We can bring in Pepe, arguably should be starting on recent form. If Willian can hit some form, coming to the end of the season, then all of a sudden, Arteta's got a good problem to have. If all the guys are kind of hitting form at the same time, that's what we want. Because not all of them can play. So at the end of the day, when they get the opportunities, they have to take the opportunities. And even if they're coming off, the bench, they need to be able to come off the bench and actually have an impact on the game. Because given the schedule we have, this is not going to be the first or the last time that Arteta is going to have to rotate that squad. So,
Yeah.
it's good, that the likes of Pepe, has hit form, and hopefully, Willian had a good game, and hopefully he can actually hit some form, going into the next couple of games.
Yeah. Couple other players then we talked about, you had Laka, Amari, and Odegaard.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say in particular about them?
I think for me, I think it's really, with Lacazette, I think Lacazette sometimes comes under criticism because he is not the most natural of goal scorers and he's not the most clinical. I think when we bought him from Lyon, I think there was a hope that, he would get 20, 25 goals a season, consistently. But I've got to kind of give him credit where credit's due this season. He's got a few goals. His link up play, in that centre forward position, his link up play is really, really good. He brings the kind of wingers, or inside forward players, into the game. His hold up play is really good. And I just think his overall kind of work ethic, and kind of effort off the ball, has been impressive. I think very few games I've seen of Arsenal and thought, you know what, he had a bad game. I can't really think of many games. There have been times when he's missed chances. I can remember one against Liverpool, which was just, yeah, I can remember that one. That really, really sticks in my mind. But for me, his overall gameplay this season has been really, really good. And I think again yesterday he scored the penalty. Took that brilliantly. But just his overall play and his overall kind of work ethic, for the team has been really good this season. And I think again he put in a solid display. I wouldn't say it was like an exceptional performance, but he did his job and he did his job well. I can't hear you.
Sorry,
Any? Oh,
my mic turned off there for a wee
yeah,
sec.
yeah, yeah.
Very quickly, then we'll touch on Murray. You'd sort of picked him out. You thought he was particularly good yesterday, obviously apart from the mistake for the first
Yeah.
goal.
I think for Mari, I think like I said, he had a bad start. I think with Mari, it was the case of, he had a really good run in the side. If you remember, it kind of coincided with Gabriel getting COVID. And the start Gabriel had at the beginning of the season, we were all just so worried, because I think the beginning of the season he was arguably our best player. So when he got COVID and he was out of the side, we were all really worried. But Mari came into the side and he performed brilliantly. And then he picked up an injury and he came back out of the team. He came into the side, yesterday against Leicester, and I think he was at fault for the goal. And I think at that point, some players, may have just continued to have a bad game. But for me, he grew into the game. It's difficult for players when you're coming in and out of the side, on a regular basis. So he was at fault, in my opinion, for that goal. But nevertheless, I thought he did well. I think there was a key block right at the end of the match when Leicester were kind of pressing us to get the second goal. When they were trying to get the second goal, there was a key block. And I think his duel with Vardy for me, was also a crucial moment. Because like I say, Vardy's got that exceptional record against us. He is a good striker, and he's quick, and he's clinical. So I thought, Murray did a really good job in just kind of keeping him quiet throughout the afternoon, and particularly in that one-on-one duel. Kind of took him out the game, didn't make a reckless challenge, kind of kept his head, because at that point, if he had run through and scored and it was 3-2, all of a sudden the nerve starts to kick in. It's like, for us Arsenal fans, it's like squeaky bum time. Do you know what I mean? It's 3-2, however many minutes to go, and then all of a sudden, the game is wide open again. So I think he had a really good game, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think he did a good job at the back.
And then quickly, the other one you had mentioned, and I've already spoke about him, was Odegaard. I know we had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and we sort of were doing a run through of things for about these polls that we're doing at the minute. And we were having a conversation on it, and you weren't at the time. You just weren't sure on him. What do you think after the last few games, and obviously yesterday?
Yeah, so with Odegaard, it's one of those where it's kind of like, I know he's an exceptional player, and I think you can see that. You can see the impact he's having when he's on the, in the team. Passing ability, his quick feet, his vision. But for me, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm just not really sure what the future holds for him. With the whole situation at Madrid and so forth, it's like him coming into the side. I have a feeling he's going to get a run of games now, obviously because of the Smith Rowe injury. But it's almost like, do we really want to be like heavily reliant on Odegaard? Okay, he's here. He's here. He's with the Arsenal, but it's almost like, if things go the way they should go, he's going back to Madrid. So it's a thing where, obviously they're going to try and negotiate something at the end of the season. But yeah, I don't know. It's almost like one of those things where I know how good he is, and I know the impact he's going to have between now and the end of the season. But it's almost like I don't want to get too excited about his performances, because I just feel as though we're more likely to keep Ceballos than we are Odegaard. And yeah, it's a bit of like, I'm a bit split on it. No question about his ability, but it's just that I can see him actually, being a first team player moving forward. But how many more games have we got him before he's back off to Madrid and he's doing what he's going to be what he's been doing for us for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, so well, that's kind of the game covered. I know then sort of the last sort of thing you wanted to touch a wee bit on the polls that we are running over the last few days. I wanted to say a couple of things about those, so fire away.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously we've been running these polls on Twitter, covering the whole squad. So we started with our goalkeepers, our defenders, our midfielders. Now we've moved on to the strikers. And I kind of just wanted to say, because I know there's been a lot of noise on Twitter in terms of the comments, in terms of like, why are we actually asking the question about every single player? because I think a lot of the fan base agree on the players that we should be keeping. And probably most of us agree on the players we should be moving on in the summer. But I just want to say to, Twitter, to all you Arsenal fans, that this is a squad review. So every single player out of the 25 is up for review. So we're doing a poll on every single player of the squad of 25 to say, should we keep, should we sell, should we loan? Now, I know for some of you, it's kind of like, is it a silly question to ask whether or not, Partey should be sold or loaned, or Saka, for example. But as we kind of touched upon at the beginning of this stream, is that, Canon Chatter as a platform is about opinions, and it's about every single person opinion. We want to hear from all Arsenal fans. So if somebody has, I don't agree with it, I can completely come on here and tell you there's nothing in my mind and in Stephen's mind that's going to say we should sell Saka or we should sell Partey. But at the end of the day, there are Arsenal fans out there that may have a difference in opinion, and we'll be all ears to hear your opinion if that's the way you want to vote, and that is your view. So I just kind of wanted to say, that's what it's about. We're not putting those polls up to kind of start any kind of controversial conversations. We're literally working on a piece of content where we're going to be doing a squad review, myself and Stephen, at the end of the season, or kind of coming up to the end of the season. So we really just want to hear from all Arsenal fans about what your opinion is for each and every player out of the 25-man squad. And that's literally what it is. We've had so many votes on a consistent basis. So massive thank you to everybody who's voting. What I would like to do is just encourage you to leave more comments, because while we're getting really good numbers in terms of votes, slim pickings on some of the polls with regards to comments. So please do comment, give your reasons, give your arguments as to why you voted in a certain way. And that's all I really wanted to say, really. Look out for the next one.
Yes, there is one currently up at the minute. As you say, on the strikers for the next few hours, and then we'll do the second half of the strikers tomorrow. And then what day's tomorrow? Tuesday, Wednesday, we will do the players who are currently out on loan, and possibly Arteta as well. And then that'll be everybody covered off, and then we can set about recording that show.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to that one.
Just before we go, there is a few people watching us live. Thank you very much, especially if you sat here from the start. If you have any quick questions or comments, fire them up now. We'll hold on for a wee sec. We will obviously post this video, and hopefully some more people will watch it and enjoy the content. And as I have said, please, if anybody wants to get involved, this is your platform. If you feel like you want to be on the screen talking, if you want to be involved in a particular sort of thing, or you have any ideas what you want to do, again, get in contact with us. Twitter at Canon Chatter, at SB Canon Chatter, or GTalksArsenal. Email Stephen at canonchatter.com or Granville at canonchatter.com. There is the Insta, which is Canon_chatter, and Facebook Canon Chatter. I'm fed up saying Canon Chatter, which is a point to. I need to find out who it was. Who was it?
What was that with regard? Was it with regards to the tweet earlier?
Yes. The one you said to me about.
It was actually on the tweet, which I think I can find it. Where is it? I think it's one of the latest tweets on one of our posts.
Right, I've got it.
You got it, yeah.
Sean Foley, who is at Sean Foley. Why Canon Chatter? Canon Chat would have been a lot better. So Canon Chatter. Why Canon Chatter? Because when I was thinking of it, I was thinking of, guys having a conversation about football, and that sort of around the water cooler chatter about something, and it sort of, to me, it rolled off the tongue a bit better, and that is it. It's nothing terribly exciting, but that's why Canon Chatter. But I like it. It's ours, and I like it. So again, the guys from Blast from the Arsenal. Good work tonight, guys. Nice to hear some constructive, sensible chat. Thank you. Appreciate it, and we appreciate your support.
definitely. Much appreciated.
I think on that, G, I think we've been on yakking for long enough. So all left to say, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. We have got some, now that we've started, some good content hopefully coming up. Very quickly, Chris, if Real Madrid offered us 200 million for Saka, would you take it? No. No, personally, I wouldn't at the minute. I think the team needs to be built around Saka and Tierney and Partey. I think those three players are key. I think virtually everybody else in that squad is replaceable, but those three to me are the three that we need to do everything to hold on to. What do you think?
No, I wouldn't accept 200 million for Saka, even though it's an extraordinary amount of money. For me, we're building a squad, and we're building a squad that's looking to challenge for major honors. That's my mindset, and that's always going to be my mindset. I want to see us lifting Premier Leagues again, and I want us in the Champions League, winning the Champions League. For me, it's the major trophy that I've not seen my club win. So for me, if you're going to be competing for major honors, you don't sell your best players. And Saka is just, you hear that saying a lot, that generational talent, but he's just phenomenal. He's just phenomenal. And I think at the moment, he doesn't have a price tag because he's priceless.
So, yeah, great. Thank you for that, Chris. Thank you for anybody who's commented tonight. Thank you for those watching live. We really appreciate it. And if you're not watching live and you're watching this back later on, again, thank you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything else going forward. Hit the like button as well, because that always helps. And for now, that is us. Do you want to say good night, G?
Yeah, just I just want to echo everything that Stephen said. It's been really good, kind of doing this with Stephen in terms of this is kind of like our YouTube debut. So thank you to everyone who has tuned in. If you like, what we're talking about, then, and you're kind of, you want to see more, then obviously more content's going to be on its way real soon. So please like, subscribe, share. And yeah, that's it really. Just good night from me and a massive thank you.
Yeah, good night. Thank you very much. We'll
Take
see
care.
you again. Bye-bye.
Good evening.